Hello students, all of you welcome. Now, today we'll finish the remaining portion of the respiratory system of human. Till now, we have studied the human respiratory system and also in detail we have studied parts of respiratory system. Which parts are present in the respiratory system of human being and what is the function of each and every part of the respiratory function of respiratory system. Okay, so how all together functions of various organs of respiratory system coordinated with each other, and the whole respiratory system works together to carry out the exchange of gases. And we know the why there is the importance of exchange of gases in living organism, because exchange of gases helps to remove the carbon dioxide present in the body, and it helps to inhale the oxygen inside and to supply the oxygen to each and every cell of the body. So that's the importance of the respiratory system of human being. Here I would like to enlist some other organisms and respective respiratory organ in their body for carrying out respiration. Okay, so in the left column I have enlisted respiratory organs, and in the right column I have enlisted all animals that have that kind of a respiratory system. Okay, so first I have enlisted lungs. Lungs type of respiratory organ, okay, is present in reptiles and mammals. Lung is a well developed respiratory organ and it is quite bigger, present in the thoracic cavity. Okay, what is thoracic cavity? Thoracic cavity is the cavity of the chest of organism, and in that chest cavity, with the protection of rib cage, it is present inside the rib cage. And the examples of lungs, example of the animals that having the lungs is reptile, means lizard, snake, turtle. They have lungs as a respiratory organ, and including all mammals. One example I have given here, man, but all other mammals also have lungs as a respiratory organ. Next is skin. Skin can act as a respiratory organ in frog, earthworm, leech. Okay, frog, earthworm, leech can have skin as a respiratory organ, and they carry out the exchange of gases through their skin. Next is gills. Gills is present in fish and prawn. Fish and prawn, they are aquatic organisms, they live in water, and the respective respiratory organ present in them is gills. So gills help them exchange of gases in water. Next is trachea. Trachea is present in insect and centipedes. Centipedes, millipedes, they are long multi-legged organisms, and they are also like insects. They have tracheal respiratory system. Okay, so all the insects, including centipedes and millipedes, they all have tracheal respiratory system, and that tracheal respiratory system is connected to the holes present on both left and right side of the insect, and that holes are called as spiracles, that we have studied previously in the previous chapters. Next, body surface. A body surface can also act as a respiratory organ in some organisms like amoeba, hydra, spirogyra. Okay, amoeba, hydra, spirogyra, also they also respire by body surface, means the covering of their body and surface of the body act as a respiratory organ in them for respiration. Then book lungs. Book lungs present in spider and scorpion. It is present in spider and scorpion, and book lung is a poorly developed form of the lung. Okay, lungs present in the mammals are very developed, but lungs present in the scorpion and spider, they are not much developed, so they are called as book lungs. And what are book gills? They are present in crab, king crab and crayfish. So these book gills are also poorly developed gills present in the king crab and crayfish, etc. Air bladder is present in lungfish and bony fishes. Okay, so they have air bladder for breathing. So these are the various organisms, and they have different respiratory organs for respiration. Now, the next important part about respiration is types of respiration. And the first type that we are going to study is aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, what happens when organism is respiring? This respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. So when organism is respiring in the presence of oxygen, it is called as aerobic respiration. And aerobic respiration, the name given to it because there is a presence of oxygen in the air, and in the presence of oxygen only organism can respire and can survive. This respiratory oxygen oxidizes the substances into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So when oxygen is respired by the organism, and then whatever the food digested by that organism, that is broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay, so in this way food is oxidized and energy is produced, and other biomolecules are also produced. So here I would like to show you the reaction, that is of oxidation of food reaction, how food is oxidized and how energy is released. So when glucose plus O2 is available in the cell, means glucose becomes available when we eat food and digest it. So glucose is available, and when we inhale the air inside by our respiratory system, then oxygen is available to the cell. With the help of these two, it is oxidized to release the energy, and two byproducts are produced in this process, that is carbon dioxide and water. Okay, they act as a byproduct or waste of the oxidation reaction. In this way, glucose is oxidized and energy is produced. So for that purpose, all living organisms carry out respiration. In this process, each glucose molecule is converted into two molecules of pyruvic acid. Two molecules of pyruvic acid by the process called glycolysis. Glycolysis is a biochemical reaction. It is a biochemical cycle in which what is produced? Glucose is oxidized, means it is broken down, and pyruvic acid is produced. How many molecules of pyruvic acid is produced? Is two molecules of pyruvic acid is produced in the metabolic pathway. What is metabolic pathway? Metabolic pathway is all biochemical reactions that occur in the cell for production of energy. That is called as glycolysis. Glycolysis is a metabolic pathway, means biochemical pathway which operates to generate the energy. It takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. So cytoplasm of the cell helps the process of glycolysis to produce pyruvic acid. This pyruvic acid after enters into Krebs cycle. Okay, after production of pyruvic acid, it enters into the Krebs cycle, and when complete Krebs cycle is operated, then 38 ATPs are produced. Means energy is produced by the cell. Huh? So first glycolysis occur, it produces pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid enters into Krebs cycle, and Krebs cycle occurs in the mitochondria. Inside the mitochondria, Krebs cycle occurs and it produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate, nothing but the energy molecule. Now another type that we are going to study is anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration means respiration that occur in absence of oxygen. Means without presence of oxygen, this type of organism can respire, they can produce energy, and they can survive. That organism are anaerobic organisms, and they can carry out anaerobic respiration. Okay, so this is about anaerobic respiration. It is found in endoparasites like earthworm or a specific species called as roundworm. Okay, roundworm is an endoparasite. The meaning of that is endoparasite means the roundworm lives inside the body of mammals, mostly human being. Roundworm is present in the intestine of the human being. So this roundworm is called as endoparasite. Endo means inside, parasite means organism. So inside means this roundworm lives inside the human body, in the intestine of the human. So it is a endoparasite. It is found in intestine. The respiratory substances are incompletely oxidized to carbon dioxide and alcohol by this organism. So in the intestine there is no presence of oxygen. So this roundworm carry out anaerobic respiration, and in anaerobic respirations the compounds are not completely oxidized. They are incompletely oxidized, and little amount of energy is produced in anaerobic respiration. So that is about anaerobic respiration, that very less energy is produced in the anaerobic respiration because incomplete oxidation of the organic matter. External respiration. What is external respiration? This was the internal respiration. What is external respiration? It involves inspiration and expiration. This is called as external respiration. External respiration is nothing but simply saying breathing. And breathing involves inspiration and expiration. Inspiration and expiration. What is inspiration? Inspiration means when we inhale the air inside our lungs, that process is called as inspiration. As per the text, inspiration is the process of intake of air. During inspiration, muscle of the diaphragm contract and diaphragm flattens. So when we take air inside, diaphragm becomes flat. Diaphragm is a muscle present below the lungs. Lungs, at the base of lungs, there is a presence of sheet-like muscle called as diaphragm that is in the curved shape. So when we inhale the air inside our lungs, it becomes flat. The lower ribs are raised upwards and outward. So ribs of the chest, when we inhale the air inside, they are uplifted and little bit upward lifted. They are upward lifted and outward lifted. Okay, little bit bones of the ribs, they come outward and they are uplifted when we inspire the air. So the chest cavity increases, enlarges. Because of this, what happens? Chest cavity is increased. The air pressure in the lung gets decreased and air rushes into the lungs. Expiration is breathing out of air. What is expiration? Expiration is breathing out of air. During expiration, relaxation of muscle of the ribs and diaphragm takes place. Expiration is the breathing process in which we exhale the air outside the lungs, and in that case what happens? Ribs again go back to its normal position. They are backwardly pushed and they go downward. When we exhale the air outside, ribs of the chest, they go downward and backward. And diaphragm becomes dome shaped or curved shaped. Okay, so these are the changes in the chest when we inhale the air and exhale the air. So this inhaling and exhaling the air is called as external respiration. Means nothing but the breathing. Breathing rate in human. So what is this breathing rate in human? When human, a well-grown adult human, when is at resting position, means at sitting position, and if we count the rate of breathing in 1 minute, in 1 minute, normal healthy human being can breathe 18 to 20 times in a 1 minute. So that is the breathing rate in human, 18 to 20 times in a minute. The exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place due to the difference in their partial pressure. The exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place due to the differences in their partial pressure. So what is partial pressure? Partial pressure means when we inhale air inside our lungs, that all absorbs the oxygen from the air and supply to the oxygen, and when all the oxygen is absorbed and utilized by the cells, then there is a less concentration of oxygen. So in that case, what happens? Carbon dioxide is released by the cell and it is released out of the body. It is called as partial pressure. Means the pressure applied by the oxygen or carbon dioxide in the mixture of gases is called as partial pressure. Let me repeat. When a particular gas, suppose for example oxygen, applies the pressure in the mixture of gas, is called as partial pressure. And the last point that we are going to study is internal respiration. So anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration is actually internal respiration, means oxidation of food. It is a complex process in which food is broken down to release energy. Internal respiration means it is a complex process in which food is broken down to release the energy. Transportation of oxygen takes place by hemoglobin in the blood. Hemoglobin in the blood gives red color to the RBC. What is RBC? It is red blood cell. It gives red color to the RBC and helps transportation of oxygen. Okay. So transportation of only 10 to 20% of carbon dioxide takes place by hemoglobin of the blood, whereas approximately 400 ml of water is lost through the breathing every day. So what happens if hemoglobin is carrying oxygen? Also it carry 10 to 20% of carbon dioxide. And another fact about the breathing is near about 400 ml of water we lose every day when we breathe for a whole day, means for 24 hours. In 24 hours breathing, we lose 400 ml of water from our body. So here we complete our human respiratory system. Thank you.